We'll have a shorter class today. All right. So we were discussing about convection diffusion problems, and before that we had discussed about diffusion problems. So if you remember, just let us do a quick recap. So the general equation, governing equation, which can be energy equation or species transfer equation or momentum equation, all of them are of the same form and has four terms, right? So the unsteady term, convective term, diffusive term, and source term. So any term which is outside these four terms, there can be additional terms. For example, in the momentum equation, we can have the gravity term, okay, or in the say some electromagnetic force. So whatever is extra term can be put as part of the source term. So we have already seen the treatment of source term, unsteady term, and the diffusive term in the previous chapter. So how to tackle the source term, unsteady term, and diffusive term. And in this chapter, we have added the convective term, and we are trying to see how to discretize with the help of, like with the addition of convective term. Now, because the treatment of the source term and the treatment of the unsteady term remains exactly same as what we have discussed previously, we have not included this in our study for the convective diffusive problem. So whatever we are discussing now, and today whatever we will discuss, same holds true even if there is the unsteady term and the source term. Just the additional terms have to be treated in the same way as we have done previously. So the source term, if it is not linear, we can linearize it, and then it will be like SC plus SPTP. So constant plus some linear term, and accordingly it can be treated as previous. An unsteady term we know how to tackle now. So we can have implicit formulation or explicit formulation, and accordingly we can solve the problem. Okay. So coming to convection diffusion problem, we have seen three different schemes till now. Okay. So first we started with a common sense scheme, which is known as the central difference scheme, and where we discretize the convective term at the boundary. We represented it in terms of average of the neighboring grid points. Okay. All these are already discussed. I'm just getting you back into the flow so that we can continue the same discussion today. It does not feel abrupt. Okay. So for any point, any interface, we need the convective flux or velocity for that. Okay. So that is and the not only the velocity, sorry, the value of the variable, and that is interpolated for the central difference scheme in terms of the average of two neighboring grid point values. Average of two neighboring grid point values for the convective term and for the diffusive term, both of them. And we have seen what is the drawback for that. We have seen that if the flow rate is high, that gives to unrealistic solution, because obviously if the flow rate is high, the center point cannot be influenced equally by both the neighboring sides. If the flow comes from left to right, this interface will be influenced strongly from the left side point. If the flow comes from right to left, the interface should be strongly influenced by the right side point. And that was missing in the central difference scheme. That is why it caused problems. And we have seen that for Peclet number between 2 and -2, the central difference scheme will work. Outside it, it does not give realistic solution. Now, Peclet number, if you remember, is the ratio of the convective to the diffusive strength. So Peclet number between 2 and -2 means that the convective strength is quite less, okay, as compared to, so it is of the order of diffusive strength or lesser. Next, we have seen the upwind scheme. In the upwind scheme, we have removed that difficulty by assuming that the interface is only influenced by the point which is coming from, which is in the which is in the upstream side of the flow. So from which direction the flow is coming. So if the flow is coming from left to right, the point P influences the east interface. If the flow is from right to left, the point E influences the east interface. So with this idea, we have developed the scheme. I am not going to the mathematical details, but the idea is very simple. That only one side of the interface influences the interface value for the flow term. But for the diffusion, both sides are equally taken. So diffusion is still average, but flow is only from one side. And with this scheme, we have developed, or with this condition, we have developed a scheme called upwind scheme. And this scheme is quite, say, versatile. It can capture most of the cases where the Peclet number is large. So it is very good for Peclet number below -2 or above +2. For larger flow, it is quite accurate. Okay, because for flow dominant flows, for flow dominant problems. And this is still widely used. There are different types of upwind scheme, which will not go into the details in this course. Okay, so what I have shown you is a first order upwind scheme. There are higher order upwind schemes also that can be used, which takes, say, 2 points on the left hand side for this point, for this interface. And similarly, if the flow is from the right side, 2 points from the right hand side for this interface to increase the accuracy. We will not consider that, but it is possible. So after that, what we have done? After that, we have decided that instead of just arbitrarily trying to put some or develop some scheme, let us try to understand the actual physics of the variation of a variable in a convective diffusive problem. And we have taken a simple convective diffusive problem for that. One dimensional, without source term and without unsteady term. And we tried to solve for the variation of phi by directly analytically solving the equation. This was our analytical equation for the 1D convective diffusive problem without source and without unsteady term. And we were able to solve it with proper boundary conditions. We were able to solve it and we found the variation. And the variation came out to be exponential in nature. This was the variation. Okay. I hope there is not much lag with my voice. Sometimes what happens is that my voice goes faster, but the diagram shows up little later on your screen. This is because of lag in internet, either from your side or from my side. So that cannot be avoided. If it is there, you have to just bear with it. Or you can let me know, I can repeat the part, but there is sometimes desynchronization of the voice and the visual. So anyway, so what we found is that within, say, from one grid point to another grid point or from a domain for a 1D domain, okay, the variation is exponential and it depends on the Peclet number. If the Peclet number is very high, we get, so this is the exponential profile. Okay, we found the profile also. This was the profile. This was the profile. Phi star is equal to e to the power p x star minus 1 by e to the power p minus 1. So this is the variation of phi with x or phi star with x star, which is an exponential variation. So for p equal to 0, this is a straight line. The exponential gets reduced to a straight line. And this is understandable, we had discussed, because for p equal to 0, there is no flow. So it's a diffusion only problem, only diffusion problem. So it is understood that the center point, say this point, let me open this here and draw. So it is understood that the center point will have a value of phi, which is half of the value of half of this value and this value. Okay, because it is a straight line, because it's a diffusion problem. More is the flow in the positive direction, positive x direction, more will be the effect of the upstream side, the direction from which flow is coming. So for example, at large flow, you can see that this value of phi at the interface is almost near to the value of phi at x equal to 0. More is the negative flow. So for example, if p is much less than 0, we found that value at the interface, this is the interface midway between, okay, value of the at the interface, value of phi, you can see this is the value of phi, right? This value is very near to the value at x equal to 1, okay, and this was the value for this case. Similarly, if Peclet number is positive but less, the value is still more influenced by this point as compared to this point, because it is lower than the midway point, but some influence of this point is still there. Okay. So this was the solution, exponential solution. Based on this, we developed a scheme in the previous class, which we called as the exponential scheme, where we assume that this is the variation instead of linear variation or a straight line like variation. Okay, so for our central difference scheme, we had assumed this variation, and for our upwind scheme, we have assumed something like this. Not clear, means there is a straight line and then there is a jump. Okay, for positive flow direction. For negative flow direction, we have assumed this one. This is for upwind scheme. You just think about it later. Okay, this is what we had assumed. So in this case, we actually use the exponential variation, realistic variation for the 1D case, and developed a scheme. This was the scheme. Okay, so from here we will continue. Keep this scheme open if required. So AP phi P is equal to A phi plus AW phi W, which is of course our familiar form, where AP was FE to the power PE by e to the power P minus 1 plus FW e to the power PW minus 1. Show the diagram. Okay. Into and AE is FE by e to the power P minus 1 and AW is FW e to the power PW by e to the power PW minus 1. Okay, we can easily derive this. Where P is the Peclet number at this interface and P small w is the Peclet number at this interface, which can be easily found. So Peclet number is known at the interface. How? Peclet number is FE by DE. FE is rho into U at east point. So you have to interpolate rho and U at the east point based on the grid point values, this value and this value. And DE is gamma by X at the east point. So gamma at the east point has to be interpolated, and delta XC is already known from the geometry. So PE and PW are known, FE and FW are known. So all the coefficients can be found, and that can be used to write the equation for the point P, which gives us the expression in terms of the point W and point E. Okay. Similar to previous cases, and we can pass on these values to the solver, pass on the value of AP, AE, and AW, and we can use any solver like TDMA to solve the problem. We have discussed this. What was the main difficulty? That also we have discussed. Calculating exponentials is very expensive. Okay. Each exponential has to be calculated as an exponential series numerically. The computer does not have any other option. So each exponential has multiple terms, large number of terms, which are of course truncated at some point. And each term has multiplication as well as factorial, which is also multiplication. So it's a numerically expensive process. And for each grid point, you need to calculate two exponential, right? So for P point, I need e to the power P and e to the power PW. So it takes a lot of time to calculate each of these exponential. If I have 1000 grid points, it will take a lot of time to calculate these exponentials. Although the scheme is 100% accurate for a 1D problem without source term and without unsteady term, and it is still very accurate even if there is a source term and unsteady term, and even if it is a 2D or 3D problem, still it is very accurate, but not 100% accurate, but still accurate because it captures the correct nature of the variation of the variable. Okay, we stopped at this point, and what we discussed was that we need some scheme which is similar to this exponential scheme in behavior, but is not as computationally expensive. Means which can be, the terms can be easily calculated, and it should give similar variation like the exponential scheme. It should mimic the it should mimic the variation, replicate the variation of the exponential scheme without using exponentials. Okay. So say for example, if we can use some linear multiple linear variations or quadratic variation or some polynomials, all of them will be much simpler in calculation as compared to exponential. So if we break down this curve, break down the curve into multiple straight lines, it should be possible to mimic the variation, okay, of the exponential scheme without too much computational expense. Obviously, it will be more expensive as compared to upwind scheme or central difference because more number of lines needs to be accounted for, but still it is much easier as compared to exponential, but will have very high accuracy because it mimics the exponential scheme. So we can devise these schemes with piecewise linear functions that follows the behavior of exponential scheme. And we will see two schemes today. These are very widely used. One of them, the power law scheme, is very widely used. Okay. Without going into too much details, we will just see them. And these schemes are actually very accurate as well as computationally not as expensive as exponential scheme. Any question from the previous class matter? No question. So let us continue with the hybrid scheme, which is the next scheme. Okay. So before going into the hybrid scheme, let us try to understand the behavior of these coefficients of the exponential scheme. Okay, AE we will try to understand, and based on that we will try to get a mimicking scheme which will mimic the behavior, which will represent the behavior of the exponential scheme without exponentials. And so, what was the coefficient of AE in the previous class? We have derived this to be what is the coefficient AE? So it is Fe by e to the power p minus 1. Coefficient of phi is AE, which is Fe by e to the power p minus 1. So we can write this in non-dimensional term if you divide all the coefficients by the diffusive strength. Okay. If you divide the coefficients by the diffusive strength, the terms become non-dimensional. So AE by DE, diffusive strength for the east interface. Okay. AE by DE is equal to Fe by D by e to the power p minus 1. So what is Fe by D? Is Peclet number at east interface. So p by e to the power p minus 1. Because Peclet number is non-dimensional, p by e to the power p minus 1 is non-dimensional. So A by D is known as non-dimensional coefficient of phi e. Okay. This A by D is known as non-dimensional coefficient of phi e. Similarly, we can also write AW by DW, and AW by DW will be known as non-dimensional coefficient of phi w. It will be equal to, so this is phi w, right? Coefficient of phi w. This in this part x apart from phi w. Fw e to the power pw by e to the power pw minus 1. If you divide this by dw, you get pw e to the power pw by e to the power pw minus 1. This will be the non-dimensional coefficient of phi w. Okay. Pw e to the power pw by e to the power pw minus 1. So A by D is the non-dimensional coefficient of phi. Let us try to understand the behavior of AE by DE. Okay. With the variation of Peclet number. Why with the variation of Peclet number? Because we see that A by D is a function of Peclet number. So it means that the coefficient of phi, obviously it is understood also. I will describe also in detail later. Coefficient of phi should vary with Peclet number. Why it should vary with Peclet number physically? Because if the flow rate is very high, what do you expect the coefficient to be? Okay. If the flow rate is very high, what should be the coefficient of phi e? What do you expect from common sense? if P is very high, without going into mathematics. What does AE represent and what does AW represent in the discretized equation? Say if I have a discretization scheme like this, okay, scheme like this. This is from different upwind scheme, but the geometry is like this. What does AE represent and what does AW represent? Answers, answers. Everybody is silent.
So the contribution of property at point P due to E and W respectively.
Correct, correct. So contribution of property at P due to E and W. Okay. So if the flow rate is very high, Peclet number is very high, should the contribution from W and from E should be equal, or which contribution will be higher? Flow is coming from left to right along the x direction at very high velocity. It means that Peclet number is very high because positive x direction is from left to right. So should AE be higher or AW be higher, or both will be equal if the Peclet number is higher?
AW must be higher.
AW must be higher because that should have a stronger influence. So at the limit that Peclet number is very high, what should be the value of AE? Peclet number very high means flow is coming very strongly from the right, left hand side. Then what will be the influence of the E point?
Negligible, sir. Zero.
Negligible. So AE should be zero, right? In that case. And if flow is coming from the right hand side, so if Peclet number is negative, very large negative value, then AE should be very large value, right? AE should have a strong influence. So AE should be a very large value. If Peclet number is negative, AE should be zero. If Peclet number is very large positive value, and AE should be somewhere equal to AW, means around equal contribution should be there if Peclet number is very near to zero, right? So as that is the physical reasoning behind the variation of AE and AW with Peclet number. Okay, keep this in mind. Although we will do this mathematically, but there is a physical reason behind this, that the effect of this east point and west point changes with the Peclet number. So mathematically we will try to understand now, but physically we have already discussed this now. So let us look at the limits. Peclet number is positive infinity. Okay, so Peclet number tends to positive infinity. My throat is hurting. I will take a couple of minutes break here. Okay, because of my poor health. I will take a couple of minutes break and continue, and then we will finish the class early. All right, we will continue. You can still see the screen and hear my voice, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So we are trying to understand the behavior of this non-dimensional coefficient of phi. Okay. So we will try to see this value, what is the value of phi, coefficient of phi, which is A by D, non-dimensional coefficient of phi, A by D, at the positive limit of Peckel number, positive infinity, limit at negative infinity, okay, and at 0. So for p tends to infinity, A by D is equal to limit p tends to infinity, positive infinity, p by e to the power p minus 1. So we can use L'Hopital's rule here. L'Hopital rule states that if we have a limit like this, limit x tends to infinity, some function fx, some function of x, fx by some function of x gx, okay, this is equal to the limit of x tends to infinity, derivative of that function, so f dash x by g dash x, okay, and obviously this can only be calculated if g dash x is not equal to 0. So again, repeating L'Hopital's rule, limit x tends to infinity, fx by gx is equal to limit x tends to infinity, f dash x by g dash x, for g dash x not equal to 0. So we can take it. So in this case, these numerator and denominators are functions of p, and p tends to infinity. Okay, so we can take a derivative of the numerator and that of the denominator with respect to p. Okay. So the numerator derivative is 1. dp of dp is 1, and derivative of the denominator is e to the power p. Okay, so this limit can also be written as limit p tends to positive infinity 1 by e to the power p. Okay, and at p tends to infinity, the denominator tends to infinity, so the overall term tends to 0. So a by d tends to 0 for very large value of positive value of Peclet number, and this is what we have discussed today, just a few minutes back, right? That for very large value of positive Peclet number, the flow is coming from left to the right, so E should not have much influence. And for very large value, it should not have any influence at all. So P should be, sorry, A by D should be negligible, 0. Okay. And that is what we are also obtaining mathematically. What about the negative direction? We have discussed that for the negative Peclet number, or very high negative Peclet number, phi E should have a very large influence. Means phi E should be dominating the value of at P. Okay, because the flow is coming from that direction. So it cannot be 0, it should be something very large. Okay, let us try to find that. So for Peclet number tends to minus infinity, A by D is equal to limit Peclet number tends to minus infinity, P by e to the power P minus 1. Okay. So this limit is equal to minus P. E to the power x minus 1 by x. Limit x tends to infinity. Sorry, that is different. This if we use this is 0. Okay. So P tends to minus infinity, e to the power P is 0, because e to the power, so e to the power very large negative number will tend to 0. So it is just P by minus 1. So minus P. Okay. A by D is equal to minus P. So it approximates the value of negative value of P. So because P is negative, minus P is positive. So A by D is a very large number, okay, equal to minus P. Okay. So when minus P, when P tends to negative infinity. Okay. So A by D, if it is a large number, it means that the effect of phi is very large. Okay. So if we draw these two lines, A by D is equal to 0. Okay. For positive Peclet number, you get this line. You get this line. This is A by D is equal to 0 for positive Peclet number. So, although we have just found that it is for only towards the limit, this value is true, not for lower value of P. Similarly, A by D is equal to minus P. This is the line. Y is equal to minus X, that type of line. For the negative side. Okay. So we know that at this limit, at very large negative value of P, this value should be somewhere very near. A by D should be very near to this. And for very large positive value, this should be very near to this 0 value. What about in between? That we have not yet found. So to do that, let us to try to approximate that at P equal to 0. Okay, let us try to find A by D. So for P equal to 0, A by D is equal to limit P tends to 0, P by e to the power P minus 1. This limit is equal to 1 because limit X tends to 0, e to the power X minus 1 by X equal to 1. So this limit is equal to 1. Okay. So A by D is equal to 1 at this point. P is equal to 0. This value is 1. I have denoted here also. This is 1. Okay. So now we have 3 points. One is that at the negative infinity, we know what is the value and slope. Positive infinity, we know what is the value and slope of any curve which should mimic the variation of A by D. What we are trying to do is we are trying to find a curve which, so the actual curve A by D should look something like this if it is plotted. So if you plot in MATLAB, the actual curve A by D will look something like this. Okay. So for this actual curve, we have found that this curve has, what is the behavior of this curve at this point? Very large negative Peclet number. At this point, very large positive Peclet number, and at the Peclet number equal to 0 point. So now we will try to fit some lines which can represent this curve without using exponential. Okay. So that is our idea. That's why we are trying to find all these values. So this method is known as hybrid scheme. Okay, this method of fitting lines to represent the curve A by D. So basically, we are trying to find the variation of A with Peclet number without using exponential. Okay, and this is done in hybrid scheme using 3 straight lines. What are the 3 straight lines? For P much greater than 0, we have this straight line. Okay, this straight line for P much greater than 0. That y is equal to 0 at x greater than 0, or A by D equal to 0 at P greater than 0. Okay. So if I write in terms of x and y, this is the straight line, as you can see. Same thing I have shown here. At y is equal to minus x means that, sorry, y is equal to minus x at x much less than 0. So if Peclet number is very much less than 0, this is the straight line. Okay, this is what is drawn here, this straight line. And in between, we will try to fit another straight line which goes through the point 1 at x equal to 0. So y is equal to 1 at x equal to 0. And to make it better approximation, we will make the slope of the line such that this line is tangent to the curve. Okay. So we'll fit a line like this. We'll fit a line like this such that its value is its value is 1 at x equal to 0, or A by D is 1 at P is equal to 0. and its slope is such that the slope is equal to the slope of the actual curve at x equal to 0. Okay, so that it is tangent at that point. So the curve is the exact solution. This curve is the exact solution. Okay, this curve is the exact solution, and we are representing this by 3 straight lines. One straight line like this, one straight line, we'll use a different color. One straight line like this. Okay. Second straight line like this, and third straight line like this. So you can see that somewhat we have managed to capture the essence. Although there is slight differences at these intersection points, but at far away in both directions it will be similar, and at this point also it will be similar. But and straight lines are very easy to compute, right? So orders of magnitude easier as compared to exponential. By using 3 straight lines, we have somewhat managed to mimic the behavior of the exact solution. Now you can also devise your own scheme with 4 straight lines, 5 straight lines, 10 straight lines. Obviously, there are many research papers on that, which will make it better and better accurate. So I can have one small straight line here, then here, then here, then here, which will make it better, but it will become computationally more expensive. Okay, so anyone can devise a new scheme. Okay, keeping the physics in mind. What are the limiting values? So if you satisfy the limiting values and zero values, you can devise your own scheme with by fitting more number of straight lines. It need not be straight lines. I want to devise a new scheme where I claim that using quadratics it will be a better approximation. So I will use 3 quadratics. One quadratic from here to here, one quadratic line from here to here, one from here to here. So it will, because it is quadratic, it will capture the curvature also somewhat instead of being straight lines. So it can be better as compared to straight lines, although it will be more computationally expensive. Then if I devise such a scheme, I can claim that, okay, this is the increase in expense, but we can increase the accuracy by this much. Somebody can say that we will not use quadratic. I will use cubic straight line. 2 cubics only, one from here to here and another from here to here. So there are hundreds of possibilities. Okay. So one of these possibilities, which is very widely used, is this scheme, hybrid scheme. But you can keep in mind that it is not that this is like some golden rule. There can be hundreds of possibilities, out of which this has proven to be very useful in the sense that the computational expense is very less as compared to the accuracy that we get. Okay. So now we have still not defined the straight line in the middle. These 2 straight lines can be easily defined based on the slope. So one is y is equal to 0, this one, and this is y is equal to minus x. But what about the straight line which goes through y is equal to 1 at x equal to 0, and the slope is same as the slope of the exact curve at x equal to 0. Okay. To find that, let us find the slope of this line, or slope of the exact curve at x equal to 0. Any questions up to this point? Excuse me. Any questions at this point? All right. Let us continue. You guys are still there, right? Or I'm not talking blankly.
Yes, sir.
So let us try to find the tangent at x equal to 0.
Yes, sir.
Yes, fine. Tangent to the actual exponential curve. What was the actual exponential curve? X by, so we can write this as y is equal to x by e to the power x minus 1, right? Y is equal to, I'm drawing with a mouse, so it is horrible. x by to the power x minus 1. Maybe I should print my tablet. This is the curve, and we are trying to find the tangent at x equal to 0. So we are trying to first find the slope at the dy dx at x equal to 0. Okay. So then we will find the tangent. So dy dx, you can find what is the dy dx. So just take a derivative of this by parts. So derivative of this is, it's very easy to calculate. So x, then derivative of the denominator, which is minus e to the power x minus 1 square. Okay. And then we have to take the derivative of e to the power x minus 1, which is e to the power x. So minus x e to the power x by e to the power x minus 1 square. This is one of the terms. Second term is that you keep the denominator same, e to the power x minus 1, and take the derivative of the numerator, which is 1. Okay. Denominator is, numerator is x, so derivative is 1. So 1 by e to the power x minus 1. So this is the derivative of the term x by e to the power x minus 1. At x tends to 0, dy dx is equal to limit x tends to 0 minus x e to the power x plus, so we have coupled, we have like joined both the terms together. So this gives us the numerator as minus x e to the power x plus e to the power x minus 1, because this is a square. That's why for this we have plus e to the power x minus 1 whole divided by e to the power x minus 1. So the limit x tends to 0. So we will use L'Hopital's rule here. Okay. So for the first term, so L'Hopital's rule, remember what is it? Derivative of the numerator and derivative of the denominator. Derivative of the numerator is minus x e to the power x. Okay, this term. Then minus e to the power x, this term, plus e to the power x minus 0. Okay. So minus e to the power x minus x e to the power x plus e to the power x. E to the power x gets cancelled. So we are left with minus x e to the power x. Denominator derivative is 2 e to the power x minus 1 into e to the power x. Okay. So again, in the numerator we have 1 e to the power x, in the denominator we have 1 e to the power x, they get cancelled. So finally we are left with minus x by 2 e to the power x minus 1. So dy dx at x equal to 0 is limit x tends to 0 minus x by 2 e to the power x minus 1. So remember the limit x tends to 0, e to the power x minus 1 by x is equal to 1. So if you take minus half out, the limit within x by e to the power x minus 1 will be 1. So this is equal to minus half. So the slope at x equal to 0 is minus half. Okay. So we can now write the tangent as, tangent is this line. Okay. So it goes through the point x equal to 0 and y equal to 1. So y minus 1 is equal to slope of the line at x equal to 0, x minus 0. Okay, this is the equation of the tangent. Y minus 1 by x minus 0 is equal to dy dx at x equal to 0, which we have found to be minus half. So y minus 1 is equal to minus half x minus 0, or y minus 1 is equal to minus half x. Y minus 1 is equal to minus half x. So this is the equation of this straight line, that straight line in the middle. Okay. So the equation of the first straight line is y is equal to minus x. Equation of the second straight line, what we have derived out, is y minus 1 is equal to minus half x, and this equation of this straight line is y is equal to 0. Now the only thing left is to find these intersection points. The intersection from which we will continue these two lines and between which we will assume this line. Okay. So we have to find the intersection between which this line is valid and beyond which these lines are valid. Okay. So to find the first intersection, we find the intersection of y is equal to minus x and y minus 1 is equal to minus half x. Okay. So it means that what is the meaning of intersection? I am going to very trivial maths here. Intersection means that at the same value of x, the value of y is also same. So the value of y at this point from the first equation is minus x, and the value of y from the second equation is 1 minus half x. Okay, so minus x is equal to 1 minus half x. This gives us x equal to minus 2. This point is x equal to minus 2. This point is minus 2. Peclet number is minus 2 where the intersection occurs. So beyond minus 2, so if Peclet number is minus 3, minus 4, minus 5, minus 10, minus 100, minus 1 lakh, minus 1 million, whatever, we will assume that A by D is equal to minus P or y is equal to minus x. When Peclet number is minus 2, we can take either of the equation because we will get the same value. Okay. So, and if Peclet number is greater than minus 2, so if Peclet number is minus 1, then we will not take this equation, we will take this equation. Okay. If Peclet number is minus 1, we will take this equation that A by D is equal to 1 minus half Peclet number. Okay. Y is A by D and X is Peclet number. Remember, A by D is equal to 1 minus half Peclet number. Similarly, you can find the other intersection. So at this point, from one of the equation y is 0, the second equation says that y is equal to 1 minus half x. Okay. So 0 is equal to 1 minus half x, or minus 1 is equal to minus half x, or x equal to 2. So this point is x equal to 2. So between x equal to minus 2 and x equal to 2, we will use this line. Between x equal to minus 2 and x equal to 2, we will use this line. And beyond these points, we will use the other two lines. Okay. So now we can write this scheme, A for this scheme as A by D is equal to minus P. Remember, y is equal to minus x. So A by D is equal to minus P if Peclet number is less than minus 2. A by D is equal to 1 minus P by 2. This equation. 1 minus P by 2. A by D is equal to 1 minus P by 2. If P is between minus 2 and plus 2. And A by D is equal to 0. So y is equal to 0. Okay, this line. If Peclet number is greater than 2. So this is known as the hybrid scheme. Okay, this is the A by D value for the hybrid scheme. From here you can write A as A by D. So what will be A? So you have to multiply this by D. Okay, so A is equal to minus Fe. If Peclet number is less than minus 2, A is equal to 1 minus Fe by 2. If Peclet number is between minus 2 and 2, and A is equal to 0 for Peclet number greater than 2. And physically also it makes sense. You think about what we have discussed in the beginning of the class. So for very large value of P, A value should be 0 because there should not be any influence of the downstream side, means from the point E. For a very large negative value of P, the flow is coming from the right to the left. So E should have a dominant influence. So minus P will be a very large number. So it is what we are finding. A should be very large. Okay, and in between we get like a central difference scheme. We can write this also in a single line in a compact form like this. A by D is equal to max of minus P, 1 minus P by 2 and 0. You can test that this is the same as this condition. So for example, if P is minus 3, maximum of minus 3 is 3. This one is minus of minus 3. So 3, 1 minus 3 by 2. So 1 plus 3 by 2. Okay, 1 plus 3 by 2 is 5 by 2, less than 3 and 0. So this is greatest. Between minus 2 and 2, this term will become greatest, and beyond 2, this term will become greatest. Okay, you can check that. So in one line, we can write like this. A by D is equal to maximum of minus P, 1 minus P by 2 and 0. So this is our A by D. Similarly, we can proceed. We will not do it here. We can proceed to find the coefficient AW by DW, and from that AW. Okay, so from A by D we can find AE to be So remember, just you multiply this side by D. So Peclet number is Fe by D. So Fe by D into D is Fe. Okay. So this can also be written as A is equal to max of minus Fe, D minus Fe by 2 and 0. Okay. So this is our coefficient finally, A, in terms of Fe and D. Remember, Fe and D can be easily calculated at the interfaces. So we know what is AE. Similarly, we can also find AW, which will not do it. You can try on your own. Okay. It's not necessary, but it can be found to be maximum of FW, DW plus FW by 2 and 0. Okay. Just a second. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Good. So similarly, we can find AW, and APU is always going to be AE plus AW plus FE minus FW. Remember, by continuity equation, FE is always going to be equal to FW for a 1D case. We are doing it for 1D, right? So FE is equal to FW, so it leads to AP is equal to AE plus AW. So from this, we can find what will be the coefficients, and we can calculate the coefficient. There are no exponentials in the coefficients. You can see that it is very easy numerically to calculate the coefficients. Means only a few calculations are needed instead of thousands of steps for each point. Like one negatives and positives are basically addition type of computation, and then trying to find a comparison to find the maximum or some loop. So this scheme is identical. You can compare later on your own that this is identical to the central difference scheme between minus 2 P, like P between minus 2 and plus 2. Okay, or let us see. Okay, you can see here. So this is for the central difference scheme. We have found A to be for the central difference D minus Fe by 2. And between minus 2 and plus 2, this line will be correct, right? We will see. So it is D minus Fe by 2. And between minus 2 and plus 2, AW will be DW plus FW by 2. And that's what we have found in central difference scheme. This is identical to the central difference scheme for low value of Peclet number. And we have already discussed the central difference schemes works very well for low value of Peclet number. Okay. And it is similar to the upwind scheme outside this range, but with the diffusion term equal to 0. Okay. So what was the upwind scheme? Upwind scheme was something like D plus maximum of minus Fe 0. Okay. So this D term is not there. So you will get minus Fe and 0, maximum of minus Fe and 0. Similarly, AW will be maximum of FW and 0. This DW term is not there. Okay. Why these are not there? Because at very large Peclet numbers, the effect of diffusion is negligible. So although it is present, we need not include them. We can neglect them. And at very large flow, only the flow dominant characteristic should be there. So that's why it is showing for the more realistic scheme, hybrid scheme, that if it like diffusive term is equal to 0. Okay. That's why we had also written here that it overestimates the effect of diffusion. This upwind scheme, whereas the hybrid scheme is much more accurate. Okay. So, this is one of the scheme. Any question? widely used, but there is a better scheme which is generally nowadays used, and that is what we will see now, which is known as the power law scheme. Okay, so one of the small negative, you can say, although like you cannot call it negative because it's quite a good scheme. One of the regions where this scheme will show slight deviation from the exact solution is that at these intersections -2 and +2, the differences there is some difference, right, with the exact solution. Okay, so we can try to find better matches. As I was saying, there can be thousands of schemes. Even you can develop your own scheme. You can develop, you can search the literature, find out what are these schemes available, and find a new curve fitting. And you can claim that this is the accuracy of the scheme and this is the computational expense, and you can publish a paper also. So, and many people are trying researches in that direction. Anyway, so there can be many type of schemes. So one of the schemes which very accurately manages to mimic the behavior of the exact solution is known as power law scheme. Okay, it is very accurate, very accurate. I suggest after this discussion today or during this vacation, 6 days are off for you guys. You can try to plot these curves in MATLAB and try to see. It's not an assignment. It's just for your understanding. If you want, do the assignments also. Give them during the Puja vacation. So what is this power law scheme? So without going into the derivation, okay, so how these schemes are derived. So say if you want to derive a scheme, okay, hybrid scheme we have seen how to derive. But say I want to derive a more complicated scheme. Okay. If I want to derive a more complicated scheme, how will I try to find it? I will try to find the errors, right, at different points. So say at different points, I will try to find the errors, then try to find some least square error or minimum, something like that. So basically, I am trying to do a curve fitting. Basically, I'm trying to do a curve fitting to find out different schemes. Okay. Nowadays, with the advent of, or say with the widespread use of AI and machine learning, you can even use machine learning to find better and better solutions. But it's basically just a curve fitting. So one of the curves which fit very well is that if you divide the curve into 4 parts. Okay, I will keep the actual variation open here. We have drawn so many things that nothing is visible now. Red color is the exact curve, exact solution. So if we take A by D to be minus P, we have seen that the limit is minus P for very large negative values. So near minus infinity, we will still take it as minus P because that is the correct solution. But now not going up to minus 10, minus 2, we'll just go up to minus 10. Because at minus 2, there will still be a significant difference, but at minus 10, the difference is going to be very small. Okay. Then from minus 10 to 0, we'll fit a fifth order curve. 1 plus 0.1 P to the power 5 minus PE. Okay. From this point to this point. Okay. And from 0 to 10, we will fit another fifth order curve. 1 minus 0.1 P by whole to the power 5. Up to 10. And at 10 again, the difference will be very less. So beyond 10, we know that the limiting case is 0. So it is going to be 0. You can draw these plots using any software. MATLAB is the easiest. You can draw in MATLAB or even in Excel, you can draw. And you can try to compare with the exact solution, exponential. And you will find that the differences are very close. You cannot even see the differences like manually between the two curves. You have to actually see calculate the differences at all the points to find the difference. The difference values are very small. So it is almost like with naked eye, you will see that it almost matches the exponential solution. So we are mimicking the exponential solution using polynomials. Obviously, calculating it will be slightly more expensive numerically as compared to the hybrid solution, but its accuracy will be much better. So this scheme, which is divided into 4 parts, okay, is known as the power law scheme. This is known as the power law scheme. So it can also, you can write this as A by D is equal to maximum of 0, 1 minus 0.1 mod of, means absolute value of Fe by D whole to the power 5 plus maximum of 0 minus Fe by D. You can check that this condition satisfies all the 4 conditions. You can take values between minus 10 and minus infinity, between minus 10 and 0, between 0 and 10, above 10, and you should see that this condition satisfies all these 4 conditions. Like all of 4 of them together are written in a single line like this. And AE can be then written as maximum of 0, 1 minus 0.1 Fe, absolute value of Fe to the power 5, maximum of 0 minus Fe. Okay. Similarly, AW by DW can also be defined. Okay. And this is very accurate scheme and very closely follows the exponential scheme. So we'll not go into derivation. This type of schemes can be derived by trying to minimize the error. Okay. By trying to minimize the error, you can also derive your own scheme. Anyway, so we will stop here. Any questions? Otherwise, we'll stop here. And this time, because I have a few days, although my health is still not holding well, but I will definitely post the assignments, 2 assignments for the entire semester, programming assignments. Start working on the project also, and start working on the assignments. You have few days off, and then we will meet on next Monday. Next Monday we still have the class. Don't leave yet. We'll stop.